Welcome to Global Reality. Let's get started. With the reawakening of the Hindu spirit and awareness and the rise of saffron power, the decades-old discouraged Hinduphobic stance of the anti-India elements around the world, especially the West, is unfolding before us in a record-breaking manner. The series of anti-India and anti-Hindu hate speeches and hate crimes around the world are a testimony to the rising tide of Hinduphobia. Durga Temple attack in UK in September 2022. A group of vandals burst into a temple and broke religious idols in the Sindh province of Pakistan.
A group of vandals broke into a Hindu temple and destroyed religious idols in Karachi on Wednesday. The temple was located in Pakistan's Sindh province. A priest's house next to the structure was also attacked. Authorities say that 5 to 6 men barged into the temple and vandalized it.
This was not the first time that such an incident was reported in Pakistan, and certainly not the last either. Similarly, a Hindu temple was vandalized in US's Louisville, which had messages of Jesus is Almighty and Jesus is Lord posted on the walls. 3 incidents of temple desecration and vandalizing were reported within a span of 2 weeks in Australia, vandalized by Khalistani supporters. This was followed with an anti-India graffiti on a Hindu temple in Canada's Brampton province. Unidentified miscreants vandalized 14 Hindu temples in northwestern Bangladesh in a series of orchestrated attacks overnight. They destroyed some of the temple idols, while some were found in pond waters along the temple sites. Desecration of temples by the tolerant religion has now become almost a global phenomenon. And if you think the situation back home in India is any different, here's something you should know. In 2022, a video showing a young man urinating on the shivling in a Mahadev temple was captured on a CCTV cameras in Uttar Pradesh. In an incident in Telangana, 2 Muslim women wearing burqa were caught destroying temple and church idols. Only recently, a video showing Muslim women consuming meat in tanjavurbrihadeshwaratemple surfaced on social media, which raised the question, is allowing non-Hindus inside temples in the name of secularism or even to encourage tourism resulted in desecration of our sacred places?
வெளியில அவ்வளவு இடம் இருக்கு, பார்க் இருக்கு, அங்கே போய் வெளில சாப்பிடணும், கோயிலுக்கு நாங்க சாமி முறையில வந்து
இடம் இருக்குல்ல, என்ன கேட்க மாட்டேங்குது, எடுங்க எல்லாம் சுத்தம் பண்ணுங்க.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one name?
In 2019, a famous pilgrim center, Antarvadi in Andhra Pradesh, a chariot of presiding deity, Sri Lakshmi Narasimha, was burnt to ashes. A similar chariot in Prasannavenkateswaratemple in Nellore was set on fire. One would assume that there would be a huge outcry against the blatant destruction of ancient and sacred Hindu temples. But you will see nothing of the sort as the media prefers to turn a blind eye, and an alarming number of assaults on Hindu religious places never get noticed. In Kodagu, Karnataka, local Hindus caught a Muslim trader using a fake Hindu identity to illegally operate a stall in Srivenugopalaswamytemple fair after procuring a fake Aadhaar card as a Hindu. Hindus are having to fight tooth and nail for something as basic as the right to administer and manage their own religious affairs. This is just another example of the myriad ways in which the Indian Republic treats the Hindu majority as a second-class citizens. Many Hindus are still unaware that only and only Hindu temples and religious institutions are under government control, whereas the constitution grants full autonomy to minorities to manage their religious and educational institute. Supreme Court has also refused to ban non-Hindus, especially the disciples of the Abrahamic religions, which expressly forbid idol worship. Why should a monotheist who refuse to acknowledge the existence of any superior being other than their own demand or be allowed an access to Hindu shrines? I am making no attempt to influence or incite negative sentiments, but the data itself presents a very lopsided view in favor of non-Hindus, which are scary enough to not be ignored. While secularism has always been a part and parcel of the Hindu spiritual order, and Hindus in general do not look down upon any other religion, yet they are at the receiving end when it comes to religious parity. Historical injustice has been since decades the basis of religion-based friction in India. This is no longer a secret, but it is the Hindus that are often advised to let go of their past and move on. But the past lives in our present, and Hindus continue to be second-class citizens on their own soil when it comes to religious parity. The idea that past should be forgotten is injustice to the historical memories that constitute the Hindu community. Historical wrongs must be set right. This is an universally accepted principle. Then why should Hindus be deprived of the right? Hindus were wronged, forcefully converted, their wealth plundered, their sacred places desecrated and destroyed by Muslim rulers for hundreds of years. How can the fact be denied that Hindus have suffered historical injustices? Destruction of a place sacred to any community is wrong, and doing it deliberately is the worst form of humiliation. Needless to say, this has caused deep psychological hurt and left irreparable scars on the Hindu subconscious mind. Constant vilification of Hindudharma, its beliefs, symbols and shrines, and constant denial of historical atrocities has led to an increasing number of Hindus demanding that non-Hindus be kept away from Hindu place of worship. Hindu temples are centers of energy manifestation. Consecration, pran pratishtha, avanam are done for the same purpose. These are very elaborate and extremely laborious measures taken in temples to maintain the mental and physical purity at the temple. So it demands some very basic and simple norms to be followed when entering the temple premises. Like entering the premises with a clean body, footwear is not allowed inside, modest clothing is a must, silence should be maintained, consuming non-vegetarian food, liquor, tobacco or any other intoxicants is strictly prohibited. Carrying weapons or electronic gadgets is also prohibited. Visitors unaware of the strict code may knowingly or unknowingly trespass the rules and defile or desecrate the place. This has nothing to do with hatred or religious discrimination. Hindus believe in a divine energy called pranam, which means breath, a life-giving source. The deity is source of the pran, so anyone except the authorized priest, regardless of Hindu or non-Hindu, is barred from touching the deity. This is a sign of reverence and sanity followed for centuries. There is a history that non-devotees often do not respect the sanctity of our temples, our traditions and religious customs. This is the reason why Hindus have developed a deeply ingrained fear of idols of deities being disfigured, looted and defiled. And yet 99% of Hindu temples even today are open to non-Hindus. The main reason being Hindu philosophy and its very nature of tolerance. Most Hindu temples are treated like tourist places by non-Hindus, as most of our temples and shrines are architectural marvels which exhibit mesmerizing sculptures, carvings and wall paintings which attract millions from world over, and any attempts to restrict them in any manner as negligible as a decent dress code or basic civic discipline is quickly termed as intolerance. So Hindus are left to become victims of secularism at the cost of the respect and decorum of our places of worship, with no one to turn to for respite, as most of our temples are under government controls. Unfortunately today, anything and everything in India is being accepted under the ambit of secularism. Heedless that anyone has a fundamental right to protect and fight for the preservation of their belief and traditional customs. Believers of different paths should voluntarily respect each other's privacy. Again, retaining exclusive access to core religions is not an exclusive Hindu matter. This is accepted world over. Non-Hindus are not allowed in the twin cities of Mecca and Medina. Parsis prohibit non-Parsis to enter a Gari, and non-Christians are not allowed in the Vatican City. Recently, there has also been a very shocking and disturbing trend of non-Hindus being appointed to administrative posts in prominent Hindu temples. In 2017, in an attempt to project herself as a secular leader, Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister of West Bengal, appointed her close aide Firar Hakim as the chairman of the 200-year-old Tarkeshwar Shiva temple. The Kerala CM passed a bill in the State Assembly for an amendment of the Travancore Hindu Institution Act, where the clause that a Hindu must be head of the Devaswamy Temple Trust was removed to accommodate non-Hindus in the administrative affairs of the Hindu Religious Trust. Politicians have been bending over backwards, going to extremes in their bid to appease non-Hindus for the sake of votes. The Madras High Court passed a verdict last year, allowing the entry of non-Hindus in the temple, stating if a person from another religion has faith in a particular deity, he or she cannot be barred from entering the temple. Citing an example of playback singer Yesudas, a Christian who had sung numerous devotional songs in praise of Hindu deities. They put forward this argument that non-Hindus be allowed access to Hindu places of worship. Though Yesudas' case is indeed exemplary, it cannot be generalized to allow access to anyone and everyone willing to enter temples. Here was recently a controversy regarding the Jagannath temple in Puri, Odisha, one of the 4 most sacred Chardham pilgrimage sites dedicated to Lord Jagannath. Also a temple which was looted and attacked by Muslims and foreign invaders 17 times over the decades. This only explains the reasons suggested by the temple committee for not allowing non-Hindus to enter the premises. Temple authorities of Sri Jagannath temple strictly prohibit the entry of non-Hindus, so much so that in a very famous incident in 1984, the then Prime Minister Indiragandhi was refused entry inside the temple because she had married a non-Hindu. The Jagannath temple has a history of refusing entry to even famous dignitaries for being non-Hindus. This has been an old debate that has repeatedly triggered controversy. Orissa Governor Ganesh Lal said that he believes that foreigners should be allowed to enter the temple. But servitors at the shrine and researchers of the Jagannath culture oppose the suggestion, saying that the traditions and the practices of the temple should not be broken. 1984, Soniagandhi was stopped from entering the Pashupatinath temple in Kathmandu, Nepal, on the grounds that she was a Christian Italian. In another case last year, there were posters in Varanasi asking non-Hindus to stay away from the ghats of the Ganga. The ghats and temples along Ma Ganga in Kashi are symbols of the Sanatan Dharma, Indian cultural faith and belief. Those who have faith and belief in Sanatan Dharma are welcome. Otherwise, this is not a picnic spot. The poster concluded by saying, "This is not a request but a warning." It is a mandatory rule for all those visiting the Tirumala temple to sign a declaration form stating that they have faith in the presiding deity before entering the temple premises. Though this is not a common practice across the nation, as it is practically impossible to collect faith declaration from visitors or tourists which come from various religions across the world. In addition to this, the rule of signing faith declaration before entry of non-Hindus into the temple has seen mixed compliances. While former President apjabdulkalam had voluntarily signed the declaration form during his visit to the Tirumala shrine when he was the president, Congress President Soniagandhi, former Prime Minister Mahmohansingh, and former CM of Andhra Pradesh Y.S. Rajashekar Reddy, a Christian, refused to sign the form, refusing to declare faith in the deity they had come to visit. Now here's what I need to ask you. Do you think non-Hindus should be allowed in Hindu temples? And if they are, how can it be made sure if their intention of entering the temple are not of malicious intentions? Hindus have always been rooted in the thought of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. But what has it gained us? The truth is only vandalization, attacks, and above all, persecution on our own homeland. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share your views in the comment section below.